Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Okay. Division 24.
Good evening, President Junior. Crystal
How are
Heaven
you?
here from the
Okay.
Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay.
Again from the West.
Oh, yes, indeed, indeed. We're always supporting you guys, and you guys are always supporting us. I want to bring greetings. Right now, I'm seeing Director David, Chairman Arthurine, and as well as Chairman Ingrid. And we're expecting more to join your meeting this evening. We're looking forward to an informative meeting as usual. And thank you so much.
And thank you, dear, for coming.
Definitely.
Division 24, any other from Division 24? Division 23, West. Division 23, West.
Good evening, President Junior.
How are you doing, sir?
Not bad. Good evening, everyone. This is Treasurer Wayne joining from Kiwanis Club of Portmore.
Okay.
Our PD is on as well. Just bringing you greetings on behalf of the team and thanking you for the invitation.
And thank you. Yes, and thank you for coming. You sure do welcome you. Division 23 West. East.
Good evening, President Junior.
Good evening to you.
I am Director Judith Francis from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston.
Okay.
For now, I'm a loner, but others will join shortly.
Okay.
Looking forward to a wonderful meeting, as usual.
All right.
Thanks for the invite.
And we sure do welcome you, and I hope the other members will be in as soon as possible.
Sure.
23 West East. 23 East. Twenty 23 Central, or own division. 23
everyone.
Central. Yes.
How are you doing? PD Joan. Hi, sir, President Junior.
Yes.
I am here from the Kiwanis Club of Nation Builders, Kingston. I also have a visitor here. Thank you so much for the invitation. Yes, my visitor is on, Nakisha.
Yes.
And we look forward to a very interesting discussion this evening.
Okay, and thank you for coming. And
Yes,
I sure
sir.
do hope your visitor will become a Kiwanian in due course.
In due course, sir.
Yes. Thank you for coming again.
All right,
Division 23 Central, or own division.
Hi, good evening.
Yes.
Good evening, P. Junior.
PD.
President Junior, how are you?
I am all right. I'm not sounding as hoarse as you have been sounding. What happened? What happened to that throat? It's not getting better.
No, I'm just having a headache.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yes. So I'm going to let you know that we have, at this time, we have a four delegation of four, including President LaShawn and LGD Desmond, whom we're borrowing to make up our delegation, who is a dual member from us and your club. So thank you so much. We appreciate the invite and look forward to learning, to understand more about burnout. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And we sure do welcome you, and we look forward to seeing you at our meeting all the time.
Yes,
thank you, PD. You're Thank you. Any others from Division 23 Central? Division 23 Central. What about our SLPs? those who are on with us tonight, would you like to bring some greeting? Or SLPs?
Good night, President.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. This is VP Tiffany from 23 CSO. I
Okay.
have my daughter here, Ariana Hope, who is the Vice President for the Builders Club at Mona Heights Primary.
Beautiful. We certainly welcome you. And
Thank
we
you.
welcome your daughter being with you. Thank you for coming again. Any other online that would like to bring greetings at this time? Are there any other online that would like to bring greetings at this time? Okay, thank you. We'll move on.
President,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I have a special visitor with me.
Who is
Mr.
that?
Michael. This is DP Rupert.
I know. We
Mr.
can see
Michael
it.
Porteous, if you look on, he's there. First time in a Kiwanis meeting.
Oh,
He's trying to find out what we're about. So I think this is a good opportunity for him, and we welcome him, sir.
yeah. Thank you. And we hope that he will find out some of what we are about tonight. But he will have to come back to find out more about us. And we do hope that he'll consider very seriously becoming a Kiwanian. Thank you. Do we have any other? Anybody else that would like to bring greetings online? All right, let us move to our next item then. And it is apologies for absence. Are there any apologies for absence tonight? Any apologies for absence? If not at this time, we'll move on to the item of recognition of birthdays and anniversary. And we'll ask none other but VP to do that for us. VP, are you on?
I am, President.
Yes.
So thank you very much, President Junior.
Yes.
To fellow Kiwanians, fellow and guests who are attending this Kiwanis Club of Kingston meeting this evening. I hope that you have informative and entertaining meeting and that you enjoy our camaraderie and what we have to offer. Usually at the time, we have recognized birthdays and anniversaries for Kiwanians who are members of the club, and then by extension, I'm going to also extend it to anybody else who has a special occasion. So for the week, June 19th to the 26th, we have quite a few, two directors who are and their spouses who are celebrating birthdays. So on the 20th of June, which is today, Director Warren McDonald's wife, Joan, is celebrating her birthday. So happy birthday to her today. I don't know if Director Warren is on the call, but I'm sure he remembered his wife's birthday. Also on the 25th of June, DP Stan Dunwell and his wife celebrate their anniversary on the 25th of June. So special anniversary greetings to them when it comes along later this week. So those are the Kiwanians that are celebrating birthdays. Is there anybody else, guests, SLPs, Kiwanians who have a special occasion or a birthday this week that they would like to mention at this time? The mic is open. Birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions. If not, and it's still open for the time. Oh, good.
Sorry
VP.
to interrupt. This is VP Tiffany from 23 CSO. I would like for you guys and the rest of the other Kiwanians to wish our President-elect designate, Uderice, can't pronounce her name properly, I'm sorry. Uderice, she celebrated her birthday earlier this week.
Okay.
So
Great.
on behalf of the club and everybody else, I'd like to wish her a happy birthday, belated birthday.
And which club is that again, please?
23 CSO.
Oh, 23 CSO. So Happy. Is she on the call? Is she on this?
Yes,
She's
she
very
is.
much on.
Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday to you. Can you open your mic and give us the correct pronunciation of your name so we have it right?
Eurydice Condescend.
Okay, Eurydice. I hope I got that. Happy birthday to your PD, Eurydice. And thank you for spending well, your birthday was yesterday, but thank you for spending the special day with us this evening. And all the best to you. Many, many years of health and wealth to you also.
Thank you.
Right.
All right. And
President Winston.
oh, another person. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, President Winston, DLG Joe here.
Yes,
I'd
DLG.
just like to say that on the 7th of June, which has just passed a few days ago, I celebrated 45 years in Kiwanis.
Wow.
Oh, oh, impressive. Thank you very much, Joe. And I'm sure it has been a wonderful journey for you, both as a Kiwanin and to the recipients of your service to the community. So congratulations on that. And
Thank you very much.
a leaf from your book, and all aspire to reach that milestone ourselves as aspiring Kiwanians.
Yes.
Yes, that's really good, DLG, Joe. Thank you for sharing that. And if
We
there's
can
nobody,
all do it if we are committed.
say that again, please.
I was saying we can all do it if we are committed.
Yes, agreed. And with God's it's yes. So congratulations to everybody I mentioned. In terms of just other people who are non-Kiwanians, just for matter of fact, Jamaican musician, some of the more elderly Kiwanians and maybe the young people who are into music would remember Ernie Ranglin has his birthday on the 19th of June. Ernie Ranglin is a guitarist and a composer, very instrumental in Menta and ska. If you're into that kind of music, or you go back and look at it, he's still alive. He's 91 years old. So happy
Didn't know
birthday.
Ernie gone that far.
Yes, well,
Yes.
yes. So and still
he's a close personal
strong.
friend of distinguished Kiwanian Easton McKinley.
Okay.
He's a close personal friend of Easton.
Yes.
And he's still performing to DP, Chris. So that's
correct.
That's a testament to him. So with that, President Junior, that concludes the birthdays and anniversaries. And
yes.
Just before we go ahead, I was going to remind Kiwanians and guests that if you this evening is about mental health, something that we're all interested in, and it's near and dear to our heart. And if you ever miss a Kiwanis meeting, remember Kiwanis Club of Kingston has a YouTube channel, KCOK, Kingston Club of Kingston YouTube channel. You click on the tab that says live, and you will see a treasure trove of meetings, all the various guest speakers we have had. So if you want to revisit this meeting or any other meeting that we have had, you can just go to our YouTube channel and show some support and love, and you'll be able to access those previous meetings.
Could I just throw in a word here, Stephen?
Sure.
Yeah, the live will only give you when you click on live, you only see the one since we've been going live on YouTube.
Right.
But there's a playlist called KCOK meetings with guest speakers and one for without guest speakers. Those will have the majority of the previous ones.
Okay.
So they can find them easily. Thank you.
Thank you, DP Stewart. So President Junior?
Yes.
Back to you, and looking forward to the meeting, the guest speaker this evening.
Okay, let us get it on then. We'll move now to our next item on the agenda, which is Kiwanis education. And we'll ask LGD.
Good evening,
Desmond.
President.
Desmond. Oh, you're on.
Good evening, President.
Good evening to you, sir.
Kiwanians and guests and SLP members. The topic is powers of club members as per the standard form for club bylaws. The membership approved the club's membership dues, fees, and other assessments by no less than 2/3 vote of members present in good standing and voting. This does not require the board approval. So that's Article 8.5. The members can rescind or amend the board decision by at least 2/3 of members present in good standing and voting, provided at least 14 days prior notice is given to the members. This is as per Article 6.5. Finally, the club membership has the final say in disciplinary action by the board against a club member. In the case of conduct unbecoming, a member of the Kiwanis family, if either the accused member or investigator believes that some part of the investigation was faulty or the determination of the disciplinary action was incorrect, either party has the right to appeal the board's decision in writing to the membership. The appeal shall be heard at a special meeting of club members in good standing, and a decision of the club members' membership to uphold, reverse, or change the board's decision is final. That's final, President.
Thank you, the LGD. Thank you for that bit of education. Tonight, our guest speaker will be Dr. Kevon Kerr, medical resident in the Doctor of Medicine program in psychiatry at the University Hospital. And he'll be talking to us this evening on burnout. We'll have our own DP Rupert will be doing the introduction first. DP Rupert.
Thank you, President Junior. So good to be here.
So good to see you here.
Good evening, fellow Kiwanians, especially members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston and other distinguished Kiwanians who are joining us, or SLPs and friends who are here with us. I think we are privileged today, this evening, to be listening to somebody who is who I would call a genius.
Okay.
A young man who, from all indications, is gonna be a bright spark in the future of our country, where medicine is concerned. I want to give Dr. Kevon Kerr a very special welcome to this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, and we are looking forward to listening to him this evening talking about burnout. When I heard that he was going to be talking about burnout, I wondered about myself, because I looked and I realized that burnout, I looked up the meaning, and burnout, one meaning said that it's a state of having no energy or enthusiasm because of working too hard. I kind of changed my mind a bit, because no matter how I work hard, I still seem to find the energy to go on. But all of us can identify somewhere along the line with something called burnout. We don't know everything about it, but we have Dr. Kevon Kerr to speak. Dedicated professional with a broad range of achievements. He has a BSc in marine biology with a minor in demography. He has an MSc in nutrition. He has a Bachelor of Medicine and a Bachelor of Surgery, and he's currently doing he's a medical resident in the Doctor of Medicine program in psychiatry at the University Hospital of the West Indies. I've never heard this combination before, but that's why I told that gentleman is a genius. He has a passion for research and has published many articles in the fields of health and gender studies. And he always wants to make a difference to the world by contributing to the advancement of medical research and the development of innovative solutions to global health challenges. if there was ever a time that we need somebody to speak to us like about burnout, I think it's now. So welcome, Doc. Good to have you. The gentlemen of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston are proud to have you, sir. And we look forward to you joining us, not only this evening, but at other times. And I'll talk with DP Stu to see how we can link again to not only get you back, but to have you as a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Welcome. Can we welcome Dr. Kevon Kerr?
Good. Thank you, DP Rupert. Dr. Kevon, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Good night. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear.
All right, good night. So I'm just going to share a little PowerPoint I had prepared. So 1 second, let me just upload it.
Good.
Okay. All right, so is everybody seeing the point?
Yes, I am.
All right, so as the introduction stated, tonight we'll be talking about burnout. Burnout is something important because it's something specific to and their occupation, and it's something that impacts productivity in the workplace. Right, so as you know, we live in a fast-paced environment currently, and work can be so because of that, burnout has become far more significant with far-reaching consequences. So some of the things that burnout can do is to affect both your physical and your mental health, as well as diminish your individual ability to perform at your best. It can also cause increased absenteeism at work because persons have to call in sick more frequently, just because they require leave or a break to recover from the effects of burnout. Burnout can also contribute to what we call a toxic work culture, where persons don't actually want to come to work, and when they do come to work, they actually do the bare minimum. If left unaddressed, burnout has far-reaching consequences, both on physical as well as mental health. So it's very important for us to be aware of the impact so that we can prioritize our own well-being and also try to implement some preventative measures, as well as cultivate a work environment that is conducive to productivity and satisfaction, as well as good quality life for all the employees present. So with that being said, the objectives that we have tonight is first to define, to discuss some of the causes of burnout, to identify some of the signs and symptoms of burnout, and so you can know if you're experiencing it, as well as to explore some strategies for both prevention and recovery from burnout. And we also briefly discuss what organizations can do to help to prevent burnout in terms of their employees as well. So let's start with the definition. So what is burnout? So the ICD, which is the international body that classifies these diseases, defines burnout as a syndrome conceptualized which results in stress that more or less comes from chronic workplace stress, which is not being successfully managed. The APA, which is not just a referencing style, American Psychological Association defines it as a physical, emotional, or mental exhaustion accompanied by decreased motivation, lower performance within the workplace, as well as negative attitudes towards oneself and others, mainly at work. It is of note that burnout is not currently classified as a medical condition, even though it's listed in the ICD 11. 11 is the current iteration of the ICD, but it's rather classified as a occupational phenomenon. So it's something that is specific to the workplace. So burnout, as can be expected, is caused by stress and tension. This usually results from high performance, or it can cause more or less or be caused by overwhelming workload. So typically, we have three dimensions that categorize burnout. Feelings of exhaustion or exhaustion within the individual. There's also increased mental distance from one's job, meaning you try to distance yourself as far as you can from the work, as well as reduce efficacy within the job place. So persons are less efficient at work. What are some of the causes of burnout? So one of the main causes of burnout is, so sometimes, we're at work and we get an unrealistic amount of work and we're expected to complete this amount of work in a specific period of time. This, especially if it occurs for a long period of time, can lead to chronic stress and exhaustion, and this feeling of being overwhelmed and unable to keep up with the workload. Another cause of burnout is lack of control at work. So this usually happens when we have sort of a dictatorship at the work, where junior employees feel as if they have little to no decision-making power within the workplace. They feel like as if they have to do exactly as they're told, and they can't affect any decisions being made within the workplace. Another cause is having a poor work-life balance. So this usually happens, especially in some industries where persons are expected to work more than the regular amount, where we end up doing more work, having fun or resting or spending time with their families. So when lines are blurred, or even with some persons who have to take work home with them. So when these lines are blurred, this can also contribute to burnout. Another cause of burnout is when workplaces don't recognize or reward the good work that some of their employees are doing. So this may cause some of the employees to feel undervalued or feel as if the work that they're doing is not impactful. So lack of recognition leads to decreased motivation within the workplace and can also contribute to burnout. And it's up to note that burnout is usually multifactorial. So no one individual cause usually leads to burnout. It's usually a combination causes.
Who's that?
Another cause of burnout is what we call workplace or job mismatch. So usually this occurs, for example, somebody comes to the university, they study a degree in biotechnology and somehow end up working at a bank. No, working at the bank is not in keeping with what they were trained for or what they have a passion for. So with this mismatch of skills, this can lead to burnout because persons feel as if they're not being utilized to their full potential. So usually when there is this disharmony in what we have a passion for and the job that we do, and we know that sometimes persons do these jobs just to make ends meet. It's not necessarily what they want to do, but they just do the job just because they need to do it at this time to fulfill some financial need or some other need. Another cause of burnout is insufficient support from supervisors within the workplace. So persons feel as if they're getting any support from the persons immediately supervising them, or when they get in, or when they feel as if they're limited opportunities for growth within the company, so they don't feel as if they can get promoted. That can also contribute to burnout as well. There's also what we call a toxic work environment, which can contribute to burnout. And a toxic work environment is usually one where there are high levels of conflict within the workplace. So employees don't trust each other, or they don't trust their supervisors or their work leaders, usually because there's some sort of poor communication. This also contributes to burnout, and then there are personal factors. So some individuals may have some specific personal traits. For example, if you're a perfectionist, if you feel as if you have to work 10 times or do 10 times as hard a work, or you can't be satisfied with what you're doing. So you're always changing and always think that there's something need to be done. So you put added stress upon yourself to complete a task that could be more efficiently or simply done. So this can also contribute to burnout. So with these causes of burnout, what are some of the signs that you may be experiencing burnout? So usually they include exhaustion, a feeling of dread when you think about work or think about having to go to work. You might have some difficulty sleeping, you might have some depression, you might feel like you're drowning sometimes, or you might have a short temper with persons at home as well as at work, as well as there's no time for non-work related activity. So I go into greater detail, but one sign of it is interpersonal issues. So persons can have interpersonal conflict both with their colleagues as well as members of their home. They might have some form of cynicism, meaning that they develop a negative or cynical attitude towards their work and the persons who they work with. They might have a feeling or feel that they experience a decrease in their confidence because they feel as if they're not meeting their personal accomplishments. They may also have physical signs of burnout. As you see in this picture here, who said work was successful, you might be 55 and you might be, if a 20-year-old, I feel like you're 55 is because your body is so exhausted. So there's a feeling of chronic fatigue, feeling of being drained. And this can be both physical as well as emotional. Some persons may start to neglect their self-care. So if they used to exercise, they stop exercising, stop eating properly, they stop meeting their personal needs, they stop fulfilling some of their hobbies, some things that usually would have made them happy. And they usually have mood swings as well. You might feel overly sensitive. So you might blow off for a small incident. Somebody might, for example, at work, take up your pen and you have a loud outburst at work asking about the pen when it's something as simple as just asking who took up your pen. Something simple as that, you might make that a bigger deal than it actually is. Also, might start to miss work as well. So workplaces usually have a high level of burnout tend to have increased absenteeism, meaning less persons go to work less. And burnout can also affect the cognitive function of persons as well at work. So they have difficulty completing tasks because they keep forgetting stuff. They are unable to concentrate and make decisions that usually would be simple decisions for them to make. Should be noted though that a lot of the signs of burnout overlap with the signs and symptoms of depression. So because they are so similar, it is advised if you are experiencing any of these simple symptoms to probably seek additional help to get some counseling, because it might not necessarily be burnout that you have, it could actually be depression. So with all of those means, what are some strategies that one can implement? So one thing you could do is to establish clear boundaries at work. So you can establish set times, say I'm going to work from 8 to 5. After 5, if 5 o'clock is the time when work ends, no more work is to be done after that point until the next work day. So you have to establish boundaries for yourself as well as with the place that you're employed. Practicing self-care can also help persons to overcome burnout. So you can do this by taking breaks during the day. I know some workplaces, which one would constitute a toxic environment, they don't necessarily allow persons to take breaks freely, but taking breaks throughout the day or even small breaks throughout the day just to recharge and rejuvenate yourself can also help to prevent burnout. Also having proper sleep hygiene, eating properly, ensure that you keep hydrated at work, and ensuring that you have a good support system. In keeping with establishing boundaries also, you have to learn how to manage your workload and the time spent doing work. So you have to prioritize the important tasks, set deadlines for yourself, break up larger tasks into smaller manageable tasks. So don't take on the big tasks all by yourself or all at once. And if you do need help, reach out to someone within the workplace to provide some help. Persons also have to develop can also develop some amount of resilience there to prevent burnout. So this can help you to cope better with the added level of stress or adversity experience of work. So positive thinking, you can try as best as possible to regulate emotion. Persons can also invest in professional development opportunities. So if you, for example, using the same example I gave before, were trained as a biotechnology or trained in biotechnology and you're working in a bank, you can probably try to pursue some professional development courses that might better align you to get a job in your desired field. So while completing your current job, not to say neglect the current job, but try to improve your qualification in the desired field so that when opportune times come, you can migrate to something that you have some amount of passion for. as previously said, it's good to have or having a good support system can also help to prevent burnout. So whether it be your colleagues who probably are experiencing some of the same circumstances or conditions that you are having, or if it's a friend or a family member that you can vet to after work. But having that good support system can help to prevent burnout. Also, it's also good to have some amount of advocacy for organizational support within the workplace. So when you have this, you can be better able to prioritize employee well-being, and you can also create a supportive work environment. As previously said, we have to strike a good work-life balance, which also involves managing the workload and setting clear timelines. So if that is properly done, then persons are able to establish a better work-life balance. So when that cutoff time comes, you can use it to do things that you actually have joy or that give you joy, like a few hobbies. If you like gardening, if you like running, if you like playing video games or spending time with your loved ones. So having that work-life balance can help to mitigate some of the negative effects of burnout. You can also practice some stress management techniques. So for example, I find that journaling helps to write out your feelings and emotions so you can look back to see what happened, to see what went wrong, and possibly come up with solutions. But there are also breathing techniques. Some people might do yoga, whatever it is that brings some amount of calm. So practicing these techniques can also help to mitigate some of the negative effects of burnout. And we also have to regularly assess where we are in terms of our workload, in terms of the amount of stress that we have, and in terms of the priorities that we have. So by regularly assessing where we are, we can determine what needs to be done, how soon we need to do it, and how not addressing the issue can lead to further issues. So those are some preventative strategies. What about when you actually already have burnout? So usually when you have burnout, one of the first things you need to do is to recognize and acknowledge that you do have burnout. So the first step in recovering from burnout is acknowledging its presence. Next step might be for us to, or for the person experiencing burnout, is to seek some professional help, whether it be a therapist, whether it be a counselor, could be a church, could be a psychologist, but seeking professional help can help you to get through the effects of burnout. And who knows, you might also discover during that time that it's not necessarily burnout that you have. It could be depression, as previously said, or anxiety, or some other mental disorder that mimics some of the symptoms of burnout. Another way we can help to recover from burnout is to cultivate supportive relationships so it's both good for preventing as well as treating burnout. So having a good support system, as I said, is very important. We also can develop some coping strategies, which I had mentioned before in terms of the prevention, like boundaries and properly managing time. We also can practice some mindfulness techniques like meditation, as I mentioned before, or some yoga, and overall making changes in a lifestyle. So it's a combination of things: setting boundaries, manage your time, doing your relaxation methods, doing some leisure activities, practicing some stress management, setting realistic goals at work. So don't think that you can finish 2 months worth of work in one day. You will stress yourself out unnecessarily by doing this, and in most instances, it's not feasible or possible. So set realistic goals. So if you look at the amount of work that you have and you said, and let's say you estimate that it should take 10 days to do it, don't bother stress yourself out to complete it in 5 if it's 10 days worth of work. Space yourself as long as you're meeting your work deadlines. And this only really works if you have realistic work deadlines, because some places of employment will give you unrealistic deadlines. So when that does, you should voice your concern to let them know that this might not be a realistic goal, and that if this amount of work is to be completed, you might need additional help or support from other members of staff. Also, To treat burnout, we can also adjust the workplace environment. So we can speak with HR, speak with us about adjusting your workload, about maybe within the same or in you might find that there's another role that's better suited for you. Apply for a position within the same company if you actually like the company and it's just the department that you're in that's not working for you. You also need to have some amount of self-compassion. Need to be kind to yourself, need to listen to yourself, need to know that suffering from burnout is not a sign of personal failure because a lot of people do suffer for it, and you need to know when to seek help. And just to regularly reintegrate yourself within the workplace if you are suffering from burnout. So don't just try to sidesweep all the issues. Gently or slowly reintegrate yourself, start with lighter workloads and work up to a level that is tolerable. So this again only works if you work in a non-toxic environment and with a company that listens to you or is mindful of the well-being of the employees. So swinging into that, what we're going into now is some things that the employees or the organizations can do to help to mitigate or prevent their employees from suffering from burnout. So one way they can do this is to promote a positive organizational culture, meaning they have a work environment where employees feel safe and comfortable talking about the issues that they have, where you encourage employees to establish a good work-life equilibrium where there is support and recognition for the employees. The organizations can also help to establish a proper work-life balance. So don't give persons work every day to bring home. Let them complete what can be done within a set period of time. Could even implement policies, have some things like flexible work hours, or even, as we've seen during COVID, remote work options, because some persons might feel better or operate better if they're working in a more comfortable environment, not necessarily working in the same work environment every day. And also to promote persons using their vacation days, because there are some workplaces where vacation leave is not easily or readily granted, even though it's something that persons are due and do deserve and legally should get. So as I was saying, then the organizations can also have some training and development programs, make the employees feel as if that they want to better their skills or to improve their abilities, or even to aid their career growth and competence. As I previously mentioned, there should be open communication, so employees should feel free and be safe, or can be safely talk to their employers about their concerns without fear of having repercussions. Rewarding achievement. So for example, some places might have like an employee of the month or a prize for the person who performs best. Although one could also look at this as encouraging burnout, because some persons might go the extra mile to win this prize, but at the very least, recognizing hard work when hard work is done is something that can help to motivate staff. Also ensuring that you allot time to your employees for them to take break. Don't stop them from taking the vacation. Don't cancel their vacation time or tell them that because vacation is needed for persons to recover and rejuvenate and refresh themselves. You can't continuously work without breaks. Also, the organizations, they can have or model healthy behavior. So they might, for example, have a stress management talk, or have persons come in just to talk to people about how they can do proper self-care. They might do things like having a club, a exercise club, or a nutrition club, or even a walking group. I know some workplaces do that where they have walk groups. This is something that is regularly done, but organizations can also have regular status of their employees to see how they're coping and how they're doing. So at the very least, they can identify challenges that employees are facing and see if they can put in strategies to mitigate this, to prevent it from affecting both the person as well as the organization. Because a burnt out as efficient as one who has a good balance and who is focused and passionate about the job. And of course, they can also offer employee assistant programs where they can persons maybe have a psychologist on staff or counselor on staff where employees can go and seek guidance or mental health support if needs be. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. Just to summarize, that burnout is a state of chronic emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged or repeated stress. To note that it's important to recognize burnout, to put strategies in place to prevent burnout and to treat burnout. And treating, managing, and preventing burnout is something that takes a sort of symbiotic relationship between both the employer and the employee. All right, so these are some references, and that brings us to the end of the presentation.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kerr.
Yes.
That was a lot to really absorb. You really covered it. You really covered it. I want to open the floor to questions from our audience, but let me just throw one in. Clearly, we have tended to discuss this in the context of persons who work for other people, you know, and some of the things that you are suggesting, I wonder how does, maybe you could make some suggestions. Granted, I don't think the solutions really change, but when you work for yourself, or maybe you're a sole practitioner, how does the equation change for you? I mean, if you don't do it, you know, nobody else is gonna do it. You have a deadline. The customer is determining when he wants that, or he actually wants that, the output you are generating. Do you have any words of suggestion for the entrepreneur, the person who is working, who basically doesn't have a team and needs a lot of it depends on him?
That's a very good question. So some of the same strategies about setting a work-life balance and setting realistic deadlines can still be implemented. So if you're an entrepreneur, for example, let's say you're a tailor and you have a client that comes in on Monday and says they need a wedding dress by Tuesday. You now must be able to talk to your client to say that is unrealistic. I'm the only person here, and it is not realistic to expect me to finish a whole wedding dress between Monday and Tuesday, especially to sufficient quality. So this talking to your clients as well and establishing realistic deadlines with them as well can come in. I know that this is difficult at times because you're going to be worrying about, am I going to lose the business? This is probably a big client, but you have to set realistic goals. And if it is that you are more or less sure, in this particular example, you definitely want this client, what you could probably do is to seek help from somebody to help you to create the dress. If you think it's something that you can finish overnight with assistance, then sure. But that just comes to setting realistic expectations, having also a proper work-life balance. So even if you're an entrepreneur and you want your business to be successful, yes, but you also have to have a cutoff time to break, because you can't pour into the business if you don't have the energy to pour into the business. That burning out yourself can actually contribute to your business not being successful, because you will find yourself not completing tasks as well as they should. You're not having the energy, and if you're worn down, you can't even enjoy some of the fruits of your labor. So some of those same strategies, meditation, all of that, still relevant to the entrepreneur.
Thank you. Well answered. Well answered. Yeah. I'm not seeing the hands. Are there any hands up? Can anybody help me with that? I'm looking for a screen. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, whoever is first. I can't see the name right now, but go ahead.
This is PD Joan.
Okay, Joan. Hi.
Hi.
Go right ahead.
Well, I had two questions. Well, first, thank you, Dr. Kevon, for sharing such great information. My questions, first one is, can there or is there such a thing as a person being addicted to stress? Because I realize in some instances I've seen where, just as you're saying, you know, persons need to take time off and so forth, just to be able to pour into their business or into their jobs, whatever they do. And there are some persons I've noticed based on their responses, it seems as if they get a thrill from being overworked. Is there such a thing?
Just 1 second. I don't. Dr. Carr, could you stop sharing your screen, please?
Oh, sure.
And then you just go ahead and answer the question. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So I have found that some persons do claim that they thrive better under stress. And while this might allow them to be functional in the short term, in the long-term effects are what you're looking out for. Now, in terms of people being addicted to stress, this can point to some other mental. For example, if you like to please persons, you will put yourself under undue. Or if you, for example, have a need to get admiration from your performance, you don't necessarily want anybody to say, okay, this person, or you want to show strength at all times, which is also pointed to some other personality deficit. You don't show weakness. This can also push persons to be, or more or less, express themselves out unnecessarily to complete tasks. Now, as I said, you might not, in the short term, it might help some people to complete the task, because some persons do crumble underneath the stress, but it does take a long-term effect on both mentally, emotionally, and physically. So yes, there can be some persons who tend to thrive on stress, but it's not something that's necessarily recommended or that is healthy.
Thank you so much. And my last question is, what if a person does not have a support system and may not have enough means to get, for example, an alternative to be able to take themselves away for a while?
So that is also a very good question. So in terms of the support system, ideally you would want family members or even some colleagues at work. So in an instance like that, what I probably would recommend is to try and get some counseling if it's something that's, because there's also free counseling that's available by a lot of institutions. So to get that support from even a counselor can help. If you're in a workplace environment where I'm sure if you're experiencing distress, there's more than likely somebody else who has some amount of concern. So you have to put yourself out there more to connect with persons.
Well, I guess in terms of not necessarily in terms of support from that angle. So I'm thinking about like a single mom who may not be able to may not have a support system where they can say, all right, I can leave my child with this specific person because I trust them just to kind of take 2 hours away to clear my head or something like that.
Well, in a case like that's a tricky situation. Of course, what you probably would have to do is try to do in this case where you don't have anywhere to leave your child, you might actually have to engage in activities that include the child. So probably going to a park with the child, so at least if you get that time, you can interact, you can be there supervising the child while clearing your mind as well. This also, if the older child or somebody, you can also, even though the child is usually want to lean on the parent, if it's an older child, a mature child, you can also talk to your child about certain stressors. It can even be helpful in preventing them from undergoing these stressors as well. But that's a very tricky one. In terms of you just having nowhere to leave the child and you wanting some time for yourself.
Okay, thank you.
You might just have to create more intricate or more specific activities that would include the child, even though that might not be ideal, or even take a vacation if it's financially feasible, take a vacation with the child at a hotel if it's financially feasible.
Okay, thank you.
And Crystal, I think that's your next up.
Yeah, Crystal.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm not sure what's going on with my microphone, but I'm actually laying down. Dr. Kevon, thank you so much. Great presentation. When you were discussing burnout, I swear you were talking about me because I just opened my physical location for my spa because I usually go to trial and different places to do my treatment with my clients. So I was actually crunching 2 weeks of work for Father's Day to make sure that everything is ready, and that did not work. I did the service, don't get me wrong. I rented a villa, did nice service and everything. And after Sunday, my system crashed. So today I just take the entire day off and just relax. So what do you recommend for me? I usually go to the beach in the mornings, like once every 2 weeks, I would say. But apart from going to the beach and doing the 1 and 2 affirmation now and then, what do you recommend for me? Because I'm burnt out right now.
All right, so outside of going to the beach, what else gives you joy? So it's identifying things that give you joy and spending more time doing those things. Do you like writing, for example? Do you like having a drink with friends, or maybe outside of walking, going to the beach, you could take up on your hobby, something that you could even do a course, maybe, even though that might add some stress, something to develop your business if you're a person who likes learning. And also what you rightfully did was to take a break after that stressful period to just rejuvenate. You might need to extend that period. Do you have anybody who you could lean on to help you to push the business forward while you take even 2 days or 3 days, things like that? Listen, music, yoga helps a lot of people, even though it might seem weird at first, but yoga does help a lot of persons. There are also certain foods that tend to affect mood as well. As you know, a lot of the mood hormones, in some persons, up to 90% of the mood hormones are secreted by your stomach. So having a good nutrition and a good diet can also help. So probiotics tend to affect people's mood. There's actually a branch of psychiatry a new emerging branch called food psychiatry or nutritional psychiatry, where persons are exploring how they can use certain food items to alter mood to make persons feel more relaxed. So things like that you can do.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
So Dr. Kerr, I see where your MSc in nutrition. I see where it comes in. Okay, I don't see any more hands up right now, but that doesn't mean there aren't any other persons who may want to ask a question. If you can identify yourself quickly, we can include you. Otherwise, we are gonna go closer to the wrap up. Anybody else wants to come up with something? Oh, let me throw this in. Yeah. Okay, so there's a thin line between depression and burnout, and usually the person, meaning the individual, is not qualified to basically tell the difference. We did say you can seek professional counseling, but I'm kind of wondering though, even the professional counselor, what are they gonna use to kind of tell the difference? I mean, this is probably giving away state secrets, but just to give me give us kind of an idea, what are some of the differences that you say, no, this person is really suffering from depression?
So what they will do, they have some specific screening tools for both depression as well as burnout. They will get detailed. They might ask you some uncomfortable questions, like, for example, how were you feeling before the work stressor was introduced? how long do you have the symptoms for? What specific symptoms you're having? Because while a lot of the symptoms are similar, sometimes they have peculiar differences. What kind of things that help to relieve the symptoms, or are they relieved any at all? But they do have specific screening tools, or we do have specific screening tools that we use or that we can use. And it's usually after a detailed counseling session that we will be able to devise, because you can actually have both depression and burnout at the same time as well, and one can exacerbate the other.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to come check you out, or somebody else who you might recommend.
Right.
Okay. I don't see any more hands, so I think we can go to our thank you.
Right.
Let me ask DP Chris, who had kindly consented to do the thank you from this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, DP.
Dr. Kerr, you have given us a whole lot of things to think about tonight. You know, certainly from my own perspective, you know, to fully understand or to try to understand whether burnout was just a physical thing, you're always feeling listless and tired, or it's also psychological. And you have sort of helped me to understand a little bit more about what burnout is, and it's probably a combination of both. You know, you also helped me to understand about burnout in terms of why should, you know, there is a responsibility for both the employer and for you, the employee, to look after yourself and to ensure that you do not arrive at a state of burnout. Certainly, that you have mentioned tonight and was a whole lot. You know, I know I'm going to be going back to revisit this meeting and this tape on YouTube, you know, to get some more of the information. But certainly, you know, the whole question of, you know, your toxic work environment, maybe contributing to your burnout, or you may not be happy with the job you have, you know, you're mismatched in the job, and things of that sort. But very importantly, I think you indicated the whole question of a work and life balance. For many of us, that is where the big error happens, in that we have not been able to create that essential balance between our work life and our home life, and, you know, between work and other non-work activities. And, you know, when you see many persons engaging in social work and things like that, that's part of the method that they use in order to ensure that they have a balanced lifestyle. And so tonight, Dr. Kerr, we from the Kiwanis Club of Kingston and the Kiwanians and visitors who are on this call are very, very grateful to you for all that you have said tonight, and for the insight that you have given us concerning the question of burnout. And certainly we have for you a certificate of appreciation, which we will ensure you get in due course, so that you can place it and hang it on a place of honor within your office to show our gratitude to you for what you have said to us and for addressing us tonight at this meeting. So once again, on behalf of all those present, on behalf of President Junior, the members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, the other Kiwanians in attendance tonight, thank you very much, Dr. Kerr.
And thank you for having me as well, and for listening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kerr. Thank you for those kind words and what you have said. Most of us know that we, at some time or the other, we have been this kind of burnout. You know, so it's good to hear from you, you know, just to reassure us and to tell us about burnout and what we need to do. Thank you again, my friend. Good. Okay. So let us continue now. Where am I? I'm trying to find back the agenda. Where are we, Willie? I just missed it.
You're now a sergeant at arms. I'm not sure.
Oh. Oh, so you know, Chairman Zuri, are you on? Let us hear from you. Yes.
I haven't seen him, so I suggest perhaps you make it a blanket fine.
Okay. So then we will have a blanket fine. Next time I see Zuri, I'm not going to have a charge. But we'll have a blanket fine at each member of $500. Okay. And this thing seems to have lost.
Next item, notices and announcements.
Okay, so let us go to the next item, which is notices and announcement. Dear G. Willie,
Thank you, President Junior. In respect to notices and announcements, of course, we all know by now that Kiwanis International Convention will start tomorrow and go through to Saturday. That's been held in Minnesota, Minneapolis. Those of you who want to register hybrid, you have up to this evening if you want to go online, but there is a cost of some $90 US. Just to advise the incoming administration, the Super 5, that includes the president designate, the president-elect designate, VP designate, membership chairman, and the treasurer, that the CLE training is going to be held at Worthington, at UCC on Worthington Avenue on July the 2. There will be a fundraising meeting at my home on Thursday night. We're looking at areas still that we need to finalize regarding our annual Barbie Fry, and more to do with the bar and the music that we'll be providing on that day. Regarding the Barbie Fry, President Junior and members,
yes,
I'm going to tell you that we have so far distributed 1,111 tickets out of the 1,200. So hopefully we even get a return of 1,000 tickets. I think we've done extremely well.
Right.
Just a reminder, and guests, you are cordially welcome to attend our Barbie Pride that's been held at 11 Fairway Avenue with the corner of Windsor Avenue. That's just behind the new AC Marriott Hotel. Tickets are $2,000. Meals are being served from 10:30 to 3:30, after which we will have our after-work line. And just a note for our members that have, or team captains that have tickets, please advise me by Friday the number of tickets sold and the selection and the menu selection.
Right.
And we need to finalize the arrangements with the caterers who will want to know the final number. So that the deadline is Friday, the 25th. In terms of interclubbing opportunities, I will advise the members tomorrow of the interclubbing opportunities for this week. That is all for
now.
President Junior, you may want to ask anybody on the call if they have any announcements or notices.
Good. Thank you, dear G. Willie. Are there anyone with us who'd like to make some announcement at this point in time? We could do so very quickly. Anybody with us who'd like to make some announcements? Okay, if not, we'll go to our next item.
There is something on in the chat from Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. They're having a special meeting on Thursday. Perhaps you may want to ask Yolanda if she can just expand on that. She just put it in the chat.
Okay.
She said her mic.
Yolanda, would you like to give us a little more on that? Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay.
So our President Junior, she said that her mic is not opening.
Oh, she is unable to get it. Well, there it is.
Can you read it, June? Can you read it for us? What did she say?
Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. Good.
The Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay invites you on. Oh, let me do my radio voice. Hold on. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians. The Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay invites you on Thursday, June 22nd, 2023 at 6 p.m. Our topic will be artificial intelligence. Please see our Instagram and Facebook handles for Zoom credentials.
Thank you.
Nice.
Well done.
Sorry, I'm not able to do likewise. Okay, that is one. Any other announcement? Okay. If not, then we'll just move on to thought of the week. And we'll have.
Okay, President Junior.
Yes.
I think I have two today.
As usual.
Yes. Okay, the first one, not realizing what you want is a problem of knowledge. Not pursuing what you want is a problem of motivation.
Okay.
And not achieving what you want is a problem of persistence.
Is a problem of what? I missed that one.
Persistence.
Oh, persistence.
Right.
So true.
And my second one, just 1 second. Jay, just be quiet. My second one is this. When you hold on. Yeah, when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new.
So true.
And that's my second thought.
And thank you. So simple and yet so true. All right. Are there anything else we'd like to discuss in this meeting at this time, very quickly? If not, I'll just ask you all to raise your glasses. And I have a very real glass with me at this time. And give a toast to Kiwanis International and Jamaica land. You know, when I'm at home, you know, so I have a glass here. Thank you all for coming. And at this time, we'll now terminate this meeting after Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Have a great evening, the rest of the night there to you all. And if you have some time, you could just sit back, relax, and steal your hand tonight, right? It's a long time I've really listened to you. And listen to deep.
Yes, I'll be on.
All right.
I just want to end the live stream. 1 second.
Okay.